What's happening, people? I hope everybody's well. This is a random live. This is the Looney Bin Left Live. Just thought it would be a good name for a live. We're going to be reacting to a few videos today. So if you don't know, the tent city has been abolished in Dublin. They were kicked out. They were put to another place. It wasn't good enough. So I seen a video there where they just basically started walking back into Dublin city. Wasn't good enough for them. So yeah, we're going to be reacting to that today. There is we're going to be going on to another channel because there was a lady not attacked, but she was verbally attacked by leftists at the new accommodation for the asylum seekers. So yeah, she was verbally attacked. Like, these leftists claim to be nice and for all, and there was one geezer wearing a trans flag hat, and he just was laying into this lady. Like, so we're going to get into that. This is just I was bored, I had nothing to do, so I thought to myself I may as well just do a live. So yeah, listen, I'm going to share this to the screen. Just let me get YouTube up here if you haven't seen this. And if you're watching after the fact, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and share. Leave a comment and tell me what you think in the comment section. And go follow me on the free speech platforms, which can be found in the description of this video. The link to my X, and just need to get into my history here. Right, where is this? Right, here we go. So would you hear this here for some crazy stuff, guys? I mean, like, I couldn't even... Activists of kindness. Like, what you're about to see here is it's just terrible. It's just terrible. All done in front of the cops, all done in front of the Gardaí. It's just not good. So you're getting normal cabbage today. You're not getting far right cabbage, not getting far left cabbage, just normal cabbage today. Ronan, I hope you're keeping well. So let me share this to the screen for you, and you make your own mind up. I'm not here to tell you how to think. Is this behavior warranted or not? Like, so straight away, like, I'm not getting it the way people look or anything. You dress whatever way you want. I don't care. Some people have shocked me. They look like far left, but they're not. Do you know what I mean? They're more bloody conservative than I am. But then, just going by the attire here, very little muscle mass, not getting at that. Some people are just, it's healthy to be skinny, so fair play to you. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, just, if you were going to call somebody a leftist, or you're going to say, listen, kids, draw me a leftist, they would draw this. Do you know what I mean? So what do you see the way he treats this woman here? Now, this is a leftist that has shown up to the new accommodation for the asylum seekers. For, I don't know why they're there. Maybe to get their cheeks clapped or something. I don't know. I've seen the videos. The asylum seekers were literally shouting at the people who owned this old care home, this abandoned care home. And they were like, if anybody watching this right now, because I know there's a few people from the other channel that are like, they're sort of on the left-leaning side, and that's fine. So am I to a certain degree, but you need to know this, that these people are very entitled people that are taking the absolute piss out of you without a shadow of a doubt. You're getting the piss taken out of you. So, we'll go through that today too, but let's react to this. Tell me what you think.
This is normal. It's normal.
No, it's 87
people arrive somewhere as refugees,
forged
they don't have papers.
Forged documents.
Because that's how they're able to get from one place to another. It's the only way.
And they've been put
This is absolute horse dung. So, like, it's 70% of the people who come into Ireland rip up their details, and I would say this is just a percentage off the top of my head. About 40% of them come from safe countries like England, Scotland, Wales, France, the Netherlands, our surrounding neighbours. So they've got into a safe country, They have identification, but because Varadkar has basically outright said, "Come on in, folks. It's parties on. Do whatever you want. I don't care. My master's Klaus Schwab, so you can do whatever you want in Ireland." They just rip up their passport and they come in because they don't want people to know who they are. There's legitimate asylum seekers. There's legitimate refugees that come here that are turning their eyes are being, like, their nose is being, what's the correct way of putting this? Like, yeah, they're rolling their eyes at the other people that are coming in, knowing that they're frauds, that they're running from the law in another country. Why would you rip up your passport? It's not because you've fled from this really bad country into Ireland via a plane, and there's the Irish SAS has came in to save all these poor people that are locked up in containers. No, these people have got to safe countries and decided to move from the other safe countries because Ireland pays more. Ireland gives them more. So don't be coming here. Anybody that watches this after the fact, don't be coming here, and if you're a lefty, and saying, well, they needed to come here like this geezer, or they have to rip up their identifications. That's how they got out of the country. No, they were most of them, I would say it's higher than 40%, or all of came from safe countries. You've seen the guy in Dublin. He was from Scotland. He sought refuge in Scotland, and he ripped up his passport. And he said, "Yeah, I lost my passport," which means he ripped up his passport. God knows what that guy got up to. Now he's given Irish identification, which means he's in the database in Ireland. Do you know what I mean? How is that a good thing? Tell me how that is a good thing for the populace of that island of Ireland. How's that good for Britain, Scotland, Wales, Netherlands, or France? Look at France. Just look at France. This isn't coming from a race point of view. There's legitimate people who come here legally, and there's legitimate people who come here actually seeking refuge and asylum. Those people, if you speak to the legitimate ones, they're going, "We're sorry about this, but we're not in control of your government's policies." That's what the issue is here. It's not the people coming in. It's the government's policies. Because if I was a criminal and I knew there was some country across the world that was going to give me everything, even though, and they weren't looking at identification, I would go there too. Think about it. Of course you would. And criminal gangs are using Ireland for their human shipping empire. Let's call the spade a spade here. That's what Tusla and idle state care is wrapped up with right now. That's what's happening. So we'll have to call a spade a spade.
To our areas.
Yeah, because it's very often the only way that people can travel.
Is there any in your area?
That's fucking normal when people are refugees.
Paperwork is
What do you
not
think people are
right.
going to do? What do you expect people to do?
So do you think then it's forged paperwork?
So what would you do if you had to?
But if they're coming in for economic reasons, which they are. So do you think it's okay then for men to be coming into this country? Yes, I am. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Do you see that there? Are you filming me right now? Yeah. F you, he said. F you. F you. Why do you not want to be on camera and your opinions on the record? What is it with leftists? We've went from an era of being left-wing where we were looking to get media. We wanted on the media, but the conservatives who owned everything said no. That's why all the wars, Vietnam, the Middle Eastern War, all these, the Korean War, left-leaning people couldn't get on TV. Now you've got an opportunity to say, look, here's my point of view. The only reason you get aggressive is when you know that you're wrong. These people aren't fighting for a cause. These people don't have a leg to stand on. These people are anarchists. They're not left-leaning people. I consider myself left-leaning. I'm left-leaning. I'm left-wing. So are you. Good, decent left-wing people who this isn't left-wing. These are anarchists. What these people are anarchists.
Yes.
Why would you say something like that?
Because I don't want to be on some far-right scumbag's fucking YouTube.
Look,
Well, who's proven to be?
see that there? Do you hear what he just said there? I don't want to be on some far-right scumbag's YouTube channel. So, okay, you want to be on RTE, where they literally don't tell the truth about anything. The whole city's burning to the ground. There's people coming in undocumented, grapes up, crimes up. They talk about the rainbow people and the alphabet people. There's radical ideologies being taught to children in school. Wieners are getting chopped off left, right, and center all around the West. RTE doesn't cover this. The state media doesn't cover this. That's a scumbag to me. They're legit. They're not legitimate journalists. A journalist goes through education, goes to university, and is taught, has a journalistic code. You're taught this journalistic code. Speak to any journalist, they'll speak about this, and they have to report on a story, but they're not reporting on stories because their media organizations is owned by big business. And I have to call this out. They're also owned by a certain religious group of people that people don't like because it comes across a certain way. A lot of the media is owned by the people who wear a certain necklace, the Star of David. By the way, I'm not against those people because I know a lot of those people. I've got a person coming on the show who's a Jewish guy from Ireland who's went through a terrible time of it. So I'm not against those people, but you have to understand where the source is. That's the source. There's a Masonic snake's head that's controlling all of this. And you have to understand this. This isn't anybody that's waving their Palestinian flag or their Israeli flag. You just don't understand. There is a Masonic snake's head that is controlling all of this. Just look at the Gardaí. Just look at the places that the higher-ups of the Gardaí congregate. It's all Masonic. It's all Masonic. Do you know what I mean? And they promote this, but at the same time, they promote woke culture, but they also promote anti-woke culture. So it's problem, reaction, solution. Do you know what I mean?
Be a scumbag now, me or you? I'm talking to you in a nice manner.
Proven yourself to be a scumbag.
Am I, yeah? Well, you've proven to be a bigger one. Because it was the far right that was here helping these people. It was the far right that was here helping these people and told them where to go.
Listen, lady.
Look at that geezer there. My God, like, has this what civilization has came to? Is this the pinnacle? Because I'm sure our ancestors back in the day when they were riding horses thought, you know what, there's going to become a time where these horses are going to have wheels and we're going to be driving around an animal, we're going to live in a utopia. And this is the utopia. There's no such thing as a utopia, but this is what our ancestors died for that. For some geezer in a pink and blue alphabet people hat to come around here and start giving off about I don't know what. I don't even know if it is a geezer or not. It might not even be a geezer. Who knows these days?
No, excuse me. Don't you tell me. Listen,
I'll do whatever I want to you.
Will you, yeah? You won't do anything to me. You'll do nothing to me. You won't do not one single.
Like, imagine this is what they do, right? This is what these far leftists do, right? They come up to you, right? And they say something really silly, and then they walk away, and they tell their friends to come with them. Is like they have the moral high ground. In any type of a debate, these people would be absolutely dismantled. That's why they don't debate. That's why they can't debate. They just sing their hymns, their mantras. Do you know what I mean? They just sing all this stuff. I had a conversation with a leftist the other day, and he says, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. And I said, so you want to abolish Israel then? This was the other week, sorry. And he said, no. I says, well, that's what that means. And he goes, and if you really go by that narrative, you basically side with Hitler then. So if the opinions that you have on me being sort of far right, well then you would be that. He couldn't understand it because they didn't understand what that meant. Doesn't understand what a two-state solution means. They just want to create more refugees that's going to flood countries like Ireland. That's what they want. At least I respect anarchists that are out anarchists that say, look, do you know what? I'm an anarchist and I want to flood this country with undocumented males from all around the world. Okay. That's okay. At least you're not lying to me. These people pretend to be something that they're not. Oh, I'm a social justice warrior. I'm for the people. No, you're not. You're backing big business, big pharma. You're the epitome of an anti-socialist. You're actually working for the top capitalists in the world. You're doing the dirty work for George Soros. That's what you're doing. These people don't get, because they're so thick, they're so stupid, they don't realize what they're doing.
It's all you think to me, so you won't. Listen, lady. I'm a local here. I won't be listening to none of yous. With your hat that you don't even know what you are. Listen, lady. Cheek you. These are the lovely lefty loons, the lovely, lovely people. Listen to the way they're speaking to me.
Look at the absolute clip of that. Like, I mean, look at the absolute clip of that. Like, do you know what I mean? Look at the clip of that. Like, what? I mean, is he wearing sandals? No, he's not. He's wearing Adidas. He looked like he was wearing sandals there. Right. Look at the clip of that. You're backing big business and big pharma. Anybody that's on the left right now that's watching this, you're backing big business and big pharma. You're not left wing. You're actually working for the extreme capitalists that do not want to see anybody succeed, that do not want to help these migrants, that do not want to help these asylum seekers. They want to create more poverty. That's what they're doing. That's who you're working for. And you don't realize it. BlackRock has just been given they were going to be given a contract to rebuild Ukraine that was worth $500 billion. Tell me why we're still involved in that. Because these machines need fed. The military complex of America needs fed. It's the same as England to a certain degree, not as bad. And these idiots who think that they're anti-war, that they're let's save the world, flower power and all that shit. No, those hippies from the 70s knew what they were talking about. You don't have a clue. You don't have a baldy notion about what's going on. You're just stuck there on your pharmaceutical drugs, taking it all day, doctor, help me, and all this shit, and you just don't have a clue what you're talking about. These people, right? There's only a select few of them, but how stupid do you have to be to literally go with this type of narrative, to not have critical thinking? If it was up to these people, we would all be in a gulag. And it just like it just takes one bad conservative to sort of have tyrannical rule, it can take one loony bin like this here to create tyrannical rule. That's why you need to be outspoken, because you want to cut out this cancer and abolish it straight away.
People know you're a scumbag.
I'm a scumbag, am I? Garda, he's calling me names there now. Are you going to do anything about that? Garda, he's calling me a scumbag in front of you.
Well, you can't do anything about names. Who cares? Like the names that we were called by Antifa in Dublin, the names, like it's water off a duck's back. There's people in the chat from my other channel that understand the other side of YouTube that I was on. Name calling. I mean, I welcome the name. Call me all the names of the day. I don't care what you call me. Just don't destroy society. Take it out in me. Flood my channel full of trolls and call me the worst things in the world. It's water off a duck's back. It literally doesn't affect me. These people are actively trying to destroy the West. And it's not just Ireland. I don't see this as an Ireland problem. This is a British problem. This is a Scottish, Welsh, Netherlands, France, America. It's all. Somebody told me it wasn't 7.1 million migrants that went into America. It was 22 million over the past couple of years. Is there not only like 400 million people in America? Like, what's going on here? Yeah, but sure, it's all right. Do you know what I mean? It's all good in the hood. Just take your medication, have your drinks in the weekend and watch Netflix. Fuck that. Fuck that. This place is going to the shit, people. This place is going to the dump. And we're allowing this to happen.
Garda, he's calling me a scumbag in front of you. Are you going to do anything about it?
Is that them got a walking stick with a blue and pink? What's going on here? These are proper NPCs that just popped up. The simulation just says we need more NPCs. Like GTA, they just morph in and out. It's crazy.
I'm not causing any trouble. I'm speaking in a nice manner, a respectful manner.
No, I disagree with that, because they've just seen those men surround that lady right now. I disagree with her saying that she's given off about them calling her names. As long as you're not inciting violence, it shouldn't be illegal. I have to back up, freedom of speech. If somebody thinks that you're an asshole and calls you an asshole, somebody thinks that you're ugly or thinks that you're disgusting, they have the right to call you that, and you have the right to walk away. Do you know what I mean? Feelings don't, we'll have to get away from our little feelings here. Like, Jesus, sorry, I keep saying Jesus. I apologize about that. I'm really trying not to do that anymore. I'm going to start saying Holy Muhammad. How about that? Our religion gets attacked on a daily basis, so I'm going to start saying Holy Muhammad. Do you know what I mean? Because you can say Jesus all you want, but if you say Muhammad, then the whole place gets, you know what I mean. But that cop should disband that completely and come in there and say, well, hold on, don't be crowding a lady like that. Right? I don't care what's going on, your difference of opinions here. I'm unbiased. Don't be crowding around a lady like that. She's got every right to be here. And then say to the lady, look, please try not to antagonize here. Just do what you're doing, but try not to antagonize anybody because I'm here to keep the peace. That's what you call good policing. But to say to her that she's causing trouble, no, she's not causing any trouble. She's just recording. She can do whatever she wants as long as she's not inciting violence. She's not committing any criminal offense. But these whack jobs with the blue and pink hat and the walking stick and the Harry Potter here with an extra chromosome, these people here want tyrannical rule. They welcome communism. You just need to know that. They want communism.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. We were only talking about the ones that's coming in ripping up the documents. So I'm asking you, are you going to allow him to speak to me and call me names? And another him there to tell me, and when I'm a local, he's going to tell me, get back to my car. You're going to allow that, are you?
No, I'm not getting involved in this.
Oh, you're not getting involved. Yeah, well, I won't be moving. Yeah, but ask him then to stop. Ask him to stop calling me names, and ask him to stop telling me to go away. No, I called him one back when he called me. No, I said, well, you're acting like a scumbag. I didn't call him one by calling me a woman a scumbag, and you're the one who's allowing him to do it. So you're not doing your job.
Well, he's got every right to call anybody a scumbag. I will. This is the thing about me. I will defend his right to come into my face and say, you're a scumbag and I hate you. I want him to be able to do that. We don't want to take the rights of the people away to be able to speak. If he thinks that you're a scumbag, then that's his right to do so. But what I'm seeing here is a two-tier policing system, because if that was a crowd of nationalists that surrounded, say, a left-leaning woman, she would be calling for backup and they would all be arrested. And this is the two-tier policing system that England has had for the past 10 years now, maybe more, maybe good 15 years now. If you know anything about the Telford grooming gangs, I covered that in my last channel. There's a massive, there's a two-tier policing system, and that's what I'm seeing here. One rules for one and one rules for the other. I want to see everybody being able to call anybody a scumbag. You're a scumbag, and then not being thrown into prison. So I respect his right for him to think that she is a scumbag, even though she's not.
Job, yeah. I'm not no scumbag.
And by the way,
So
folks, I can't see the chat, but I will link. The channel I get this off. I think you say it's the lady of Era. I think you call it. I think you say it. I'm really bad with my Irish, folks. I mean, I'm terribly bad with my Irish. My brother speaks fluent Irish, and if he heard me, he would kneecap me. Right. So apologies about that, you bloody Brits. I'm gonna get you back. I'm gonna take your English language away from you and make you speak Chinese. How about that? So I'll link that in the description afterwards. I actually should have done that now. Very, very good channel. Fantastic channel. I was on a live panel there the other day, and she puts up all these videos. And, credit them. There should be more people doing this. These people are putting themselves in vulnerable situations with whack jobs that could be carrying. Most of these people are all junkies, and do you know what I mean? They're all, so yeah. So I'll take this away for now and I'll have a look at the chat. Oh, we've got her here. Go and subscribe to the channel, folks. Seriously, I'll put the link. Let me see if I can do that now. I'll do that now. So I'll pin her channel to the top. Just give me a wee second, please. Stray Cabbage. That should be it. Oh, can I pin that now? So that's pinned because I've used her. I hate taking people's content and not giving them the. So madness, folks. Those leftists are destroying the place. Now, I'm not saying. Listen, I don't mind people like I don't hold the opinions of a lot of people. That there's some people that are totally anti-immigration. They're anti-refugee. They want to just see nobody here apart from the Irish. I'm not like that. I think every country needs to do their fair share looking after refugees, but with you're not getting in without a passport. You're not getting in without identification. That will reduce it by 70% because 70% of the people that come in here do not have identification or a passport. Common sense, basic mathematics, right? And when it comes to immigration, you're not going to get in here with a criminal record. Any grape, speedos, murderers, anything like that, you're not getting in. And if you're even suspected of terrorism, I don't care if you've been convicted, if you're even suspected of terrorism, you're not getting in. People say that's a bit draconian. I don't care. The protection of my people means more to me than maybe taking a risk on somebody that might be a terrorist. I don't care what type of a terrorist. You're a neo-Nazi, you're, Sharia or whatever, a jihadi. It doesn't matter to me. You're not getting in. I don't care about the color of your skin, right? You're not getting in if you have those things. That's where I stand on things. It's not a coincidence. If you look at Poland has no crime. It has no terrorist attacks. There's no links to terrorism. Right now in Ireland, in the Republic of Ireland, there is 150 plus, which probably could mean 10,000 jihadists residing in Ireland. And I'll say this again. I'm not anti-Palestine. I've been advocating for the Palestinians to be free for the past 6 years. But it just so happens most of the people that are on the streets today wouldn't have been able to tell you where Palestine is on the map 2 years ago, last year. It's just the man in the box has told you to be angry, so you're out and you're being angry. So, I'm not anti-Muslim. I've been for there's Christian Palestinians. Israel has been bombing churches, Catholic churches. To put up a post on Twitter saying, with a Catholic church and a mosque and a synagogue, I've just had word of Christians being shot in Palestine. Don't listen. And did you hear what your guy said? That's on GB News, who's linked in with that fella, what he called Candace Owens. He called her the N-word. Apparently, allegedly, I have to say that. But I can recognize anybody that's coming to me saying from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. That means you want Israel abolished. That means that you side with the man himself from 1940s. So you need to have critical thinking here. We're being played, and it's creating more refugees. I'm not against these people. Let's look after refugees, but make sure the people that are coming in are safe people, that we're not, sorry, you don't have identification. You can't prove who you are legally. Sorry, you can't get in. We're going to have to put you back because the safety of our people comes before the safety of you. I'm sorry about that, and I wish you well. Oh, you've came through 6 safe countries to get to Ireland. Why is that? Why didn't you stay off in Netherlands? Why didn't you just stop at Scotland or France? Oh, because you thought Ireland was going to give you more financially. All right, well, sorry, that's not the case anymore. I'm sorry, sir, you're going to have to go back to these places because Ireland doesn't do that anymore. That's the type of policies that we need. We're respecting human life, but we're also preserving the life that's already in Ireland. I mean, this isn't a far-right view, folks. This is a normal thinking view. You say this 30 years ago, say, hold on, you're just a normal thinking person. What do you mean people are calling you far-right? If you had a time machine and went back in time, people and people were saying, you said, yeah, I'm being called far-right because I want, decent immigration policies and we don't want to bring in droves of undocumented men. Of course, what are you talking about? Of course we don't want that. Why is that what they're doing in the future? Yeah. Right. Thanks for telling us. Let's, who was it? Varadkar, right? Let's nip this in the bud right now. Don't tell me Sinn Féin's doing it too. Sinn Féin. Yeah. I mean, look at the North. We're not against multiculturalism. We're just against this sort of open door policy. What's Sinn Féin doing? How do they actually think in time? See, you have to understand the North here. The North is very much behind politically than the Republic of Ireland. You are a bit more advanced, so that's why you are in the situation that you are in now. But right now, for instance, if we want a united Ireland, we vote for Sinn Féin, we vote for the nationalist parties. But what I'm trying to tell the people up here is the DUP are dinosaurs, right? Nobody wants, even their own people. Unionism has crumbled; it doesn't even exist anymore, right? They're too worried about some invisible border in the sea. They don't give a fuck. They're not standing up for anything in the North here. But I'm trying to tell people that you consider yourself an Irish nationalist in the North. If you go across the border into the Republic of Ireland and call yourself a nationalist, they will call you far right. I said that to a few people. I've said that to my brother. He understands now. I've said this to people. But when you say that to certain people, they look at you as if you've got 10 heads. What do you mean I'm far right? I'm not far right. I vote for Sinn Féin. Yeah, but you call yourself an Irish nationalist. Yeah. Well, the Irish nationalists in the Republic of Ireland are considered far right. Why is that? Why? Because their government's doing that, because they're against open door policy. I mean, anybody from the North listening right now, you need to know this. I think the only way to go is the Irish Freedom Party. Antu, I think you call them, I keep mispronouncing that. Antu, those parties. So let's have a look at the chat before we get back into more reaction videos. Susie knows what the crack is, she knows what the crack is with a lot of stuff going on up here, more than me. I'm going to go straight down to the bottom here. Oh, hold on. It's not my content. I wasn't there today, but whatever I put on my channel, people can share away. That's what it's about. Well, listen, I'm not in the area, so I react to a lot of, your stuff, Soulway stuff. I react to a lot of that. You, Saladin, big up Saladin. Me and him speak behind the scenes. He's a good lad, like. But it was on your panel the other night, and it was good. Like, I was able to speak. You've got a very good way of presenting your panel. I'm actually able to have my say on your panel, so fair play, like. This is the thing, so there's, Ulster boys come in. This is the thing, right? What people don't realize, right, is that this isn't an anti-unionist thing. This isn't an anti-Irish thing. There's a lot of unionists right now that are waking up going, hold on. We basically have the same open door policy as the Republic of Ireland. And none of the unionist parties are speaking up about this. Actually, if you look what Paul Golding said on the Tommy Robinson podcast, you've got top unionists working with far left organizations like Hope Not Hate, speaking to them every single day. And you think to yourself, Sinn Féin aren't even doing that. Sinn Féin don't want anything to do with them. But do you get what I'm saying? So you need a good party in here. I think a lot of unionists would vote for an Irish Freedom Party or an Antu or things like that. if they came out with what, with their policies and says, look, we're for a strict immigration policy, we're for we're for putting Ireland first. Look at England, folks. Like any unionist looking it over in England, you're thinking to yourself, fuck, I mean, England doesn't exist anymore. Look at London, look at the capital. You have English people in England that can't travel into the capital, but active terrorists can walk about freely. Look at Scotland. This is a plan. It's been happening for about 30 years, a slow progression. It's just ramped up over the past 5 years. Just look at it. Look at England. I would say unionists in the north here are more patriotic British than most of the British people, especially in the south, discarding in a few places in the north now of England because it's a little bit different up there, like in Newcastle and stuff. There's some boys up there that are just mental, but you get what I'm saying with it. So union, like what do you call that wee fella? Jamie Bryson or something? I've seen him. What's he talking about the RIC? What are you talking about the RIC border for? That's done and dusted. You voted for Brexit. You wanted Brexit, Jamie. You wanted Brexit. You thought it was going to make you closer to Britain, didn't you? But you didn't. You weren't smart. You didn't think, well, hold on, this is actually going to create a separation because Ireland is an island that's going, and they're going to have the separation with the sea and the goods checked with all types of products, which created an invisible border in the Irish Sea. You didn't think about it. You just thought, oh, this is great. Let's leave Europe. Didn't think about the ramifications for that because you're fucking thick. And that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing very, very smart, intelligent tactics from the nationalist parties in the north. But at the same time, I'm seeing silliness and stupidness from the unionist side of things. And listen, it is what it is. I don't give a fuck. But when it comes to the people that I voted for all my life, I have a big Sinn Féin. I voted Sinn Féin all my life. All my life, Sinn Féin, Sinn Féin, Sinn Féin. Of course, you want a united Ireland. My fucking family fought for united Ireland, not on both sides, Catholic and Protestant, but they fought for, way back in the day with black and tans, right up until modern day. Do you know what I mean? So, was there a shout back then for communism? There probably was because it was being trialed and tested. But you've got these leaders now. You've got Sinn Féin. You've got SDLP aren't the worst, and you've got the Alliance up here. These people aren't for the greater good of Ireland. They're not for progression. They're for regression. That's what people need to know. And they're trying to flood the place full of undocumented people, north and south. I was in Belfast the other day. I was like, what's going on here? It's not tourism. While there is homeless people everywhere. Going to the north, like Susie will tell you, going to North Belfast is like zombie town. They're just walking about like zombies. People de-lifing themselves, local people. The mental health crisis in the north here is shocking. I mean, properly shocking, where you have doctors just willy-nilly giving out everything, making the pharmaceutical companies big bank, while at the same time the people are de-lifing themselves. This year, I know of 2 people that have de-lifed themselves. A mother and a son. The son first and then the mother. So you tell me, and they're Irish people. Big Irish nationalists living in Belfast there. I think it was North Belfast. So you tell me what's going on, while at the same time they're repopulating the place with undocumented people. Repopulate. If you want to bring another population in, have them vetted. Because people were saying, oh well, you have to have, give a bit of leeway. Look, the best doctors I've ever came across were foreign doctors, Nigerians. I know there's a thing going on at the minute where they're fabricating their credentials and stuff. I get that, but the Nigerians, brilliant doctors. I'm not against these people. I think that they're brilliant. Good crack. The only doctor that was able to get blood from my son was a Nigerian doctor. And he was brilliant. His attitude, his bedside manner, he was brilliant. I'm not against these people. But even he would tell you where he comes from. He don't let the people in, the bad people from his country. They're actively emptying their asylums and their prisons into Europe. That's what they're doing. And it's free for all, open door policy. Let me have a look at the chat. you know what I mean? Like, he's from North. He knows, he knows what the crack is. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, but you have to understand, that's a plan. I seen that coming. That's a plan, because the pharmaceutical companies are using the likes of the NHS to make them big money, because they know it's not like America here where you have to pay for everything, but they still have to make their money. So they legislate, they own, they corrupt, and they get their drugs through to the population. Think about it. You say to the doctor you're depressed, you're given antidepressants. But then if you look up the definition of depression, they have to check for a chemical imbalance in your brain. But they don't. How can you do that? They just prescribe it to you, and then they don't tell you when to come off it. You're just on it, because it makes them so much money. It's the same as cocodamols. Listen, I near got addicted to. That's another story in itself. I near got addicted to cocodamols. So easy to do. Diazes, cocodamols, because it made me feel so good. I took so many one time when I was sick last year. I started hallucinating because I forgot that I took them, and I started taking more. And I looked down, and I was just, it was crazy. Do you know what I mean? But that's what, there's no, we need to get away from Catholics not being able to trust Protestants, and Protestants. I grew up, and it was just a different time. It was just in the 90s, pre-Good Friday Agreement. It was just a different. I was born 87, and I'm not going to lie to you. I was told, don't trust Protestants because you're going to get harmed. You're going, because my granddad was a bus driver. He's seen it all. He had respect from both communities. Whenever he died, he got letters from both sides, because he saved people during the Troubles when he drove the buses through Belfast. He had to step out while the boys burnt the bus, and he got letters whenever he died from loyalists, from Republicans, from everybody. John, you're a fucking good lad. You helped us. You done this. So I grew up with him knowing what the crack was, and he says, look, don't trust Protestants, because, but now it's changed. Now it's changed. You have to recognize the change, and the unionist community needs to understand that the unionist politicians are just as corrupt as the rest of them. And the nationalist community needs to understand that their parties that once represented them are still for a united Ireland, but they're not for a united Ireland for the Irish. They're for a united Ireland internationally. Open door policy. Do you know what I mean? Where they're corrupted by big business, big pharma. If you actually listen to what I have to say here, I'm more of a socialist than these fucks that are promoting socialism. If you listen to me, I'm against big business. I'm against big pharma. I'm against all of those things getting their grips in, because that's what you're seeing. You're seeing them corrupting the politicians like Sinn Féin. It's the same down south, Fine Gael, Fine Gael, the Green Party. These people have been corrupted by big business, and who benefits from that? Who's benefiting from the migration crisis in Ireland at the minute? Big business, i.e. the sector side of that would be the private landlords. Of course, and with the more people that come in, the rent goes sky high, because you don't have it at a balance. Most of the people that are coming in go straight on to welfare, and then there's more of a drain. I'm not saying that there are a drain, because no, everybody's got a right to live, but then there's more of a drain on public funds, and then schools lose out, the roads start to crumble. You have to keep a steady balance, and that's what you call a good economic balance. If you listen to the Irish Freedom Party, what they say about the economic, and no, people don't like listening to economics. People don't want to listen to economics because it bores them. They just want to hear about migrants. But economics, if you listen to what a party's economic policy is, that tells you everything to do with the rest of their policies. Because if they say, well, it's about distributing the funds out equally, well, that means they're going to stop with the migration, because they have to, because that's a massive drain on society right now. Do you know what I mean? Listen, this is just me talking shite too. I'm not a politician. Here's me speaking about it, but there is people out there that are willing to put, I know it's not only North Belfast, Susie. It's all over here too. I'm not giving away my location, but I mean, these little small towns are riddled with all types. and the move sex offenders into small towns from big cities. So like, like top, as your fella said on Stephen Nolan's show, top Sunday world sex offenders into small areas. Have you ever, anybody from the north here, anybody in Ireland, I'm sure the Republic do this too. If you know of a man, a single man that moves into an area, right, and he's got no family that visits him for about a month, the government's moved him there for a reason, and they've relocated him. You need to be very careful about that, and don't feel like you're a Karen for going over and saying, mate, what's the crack? Who are you? Anybody moves in here, this wee area, we always say, I don't give a fuck. Like, I would rather my son not something bad happening to him, or some kid around here, if he tells me to fuck off, I'll tell him why, and say, look, you're living here, you've moved in, nobody knows who the fuck you are, you've came in, no families visited you, who the fuck are you? Like, do you know what I mean? Susie knows what I'm talking about, because she, she would be dealing with a lot of stuff like that. It wasn't a proxy, because I had a conversation with an American the other day. Like, the Irish conflict goes right back to the 11th century, when a king of Ulster sold out. I can't forget his name. My brother's going to shoot me for this here. He's literally going to kneecap me, because he's a historian, like. And he sold out Ireland to Britain because the rest of the Irish kings didn't like him, and I think they were going to kill him because he was a bit of a prick. So he went to the King of England at the time and said, right, listen, you can have Ireland. I'm going to facilitate you taking over Ireland. I'm butchering this, by the way, as long as you let me keep my throne as the king of this province. I don't think the King of England did at the time. I think he actually slaughtered him. Fair play. I would have done the same thing. A wee weak bitch coming over looking for support. So it was an Irish king in the 11th century, I believe, that sold out Ireland first, and then that was the first. I think there was conflicts before that. There was always invasions, and if you go even way back further, Ireland invaded Britain way back in the day. Like, so we've been invading each other. But if our local history with the Troubles, I don't like calling it the Troubles. It's a conflict. The trouble is, if it's a trouble to people, hold on, there was people here living and dying. It's not a trouble. It wasn't Troubles. So it's like our local history with the 1968 civil rights movement. It was a necessary thing. My granny was spat in the street for just wearing an Irish brooch. You couldn't have said that you were a Catholic. There was a proper civil rights issue that needed to happen. It wasn't just that. There was a wee fella shot, and I forget his name. I'm terrible with names, but he was shot. A young Catholic fella was killed outside a pub in Belfast, which really set it off. Then you had the professional IRA coming in. They were brutal. They were, if you listen to Johnny Adair, he says, look, these people were always 10 steps ahead of the loyalist paramilitaries. It was hard to keep up with them, but we needed to put the pressure on them, while at the same time, top informants, like, people don't realize this. Back then, all paramilitary groups at the top were led by informants. And if you listen to these people that were saying, like, they were doing killings at the top, and we were thinking, well, how could he be an informant if he's doing that many killings? Obviously, he's not going to kill his own people. But then you find out that there were informants, and they were given the go-ahead. So to a degree, could there have been a little bit of a proxy war put in there? Yes, but it dates back. I was speaking to an American, and I said, look, my country's war with Britain is like 4 times as old as your country, like your colonized country. So, when it comes to war tactics, like, the IRA were considered the greatest war tacticians ever. But then you move into the realms of, real innocent people getting hurt. If you're just targeting the military, that's fine. But on both sides, there was innocent people that got hurt that shouldn't have died. And that's, unfortunately, that had to stop. So thank God the Good Friday Agreement came in. There's loads more that goes into it. Like, I remember being very afraid at one stage, because you had a selection of loyalist paramilitaries in Belfast. They were called the Shankill Butchers, but they had a faction down my way, and they'd done some horrendous stuff to young lads, like a 17-year-old lad. And I remember whenever that happened, and I was out camping with my mate out in the back field, and we were just told to go home. Like my mum came down, got me, and like they never told us what happened. But years later, we'll find out what happened and what they done to him. Like, but in both bad things happened on both sides. You know, there's my best mate. he's a mad cunt. He's a Protestant, like, and his dad took a bullet for saving a Catholic fella, like standing in front of a Catholic fella that was going to be shot, like, and he stood in front of him because of that. I think he took a bullet, and then he had to be relocated, and he got moved into a nationalist area. But he was a hardcore unionist, like a hardcore unionist, like. But his son was my best mate, but he just didn't want to see people being murdered. So there's good people on both sides. There's bad people on both sides, and unionists, nationalists. The unionists need to realize that, man, see what their parties are fighting for at the minute, like an Irish Sea border. That's the least of anybody's worries. An Irish Sea border. You voted for it. That's what you want with Brexit. The nationalists need to realize, like, these parties do not represent you anymore. They are corrupted by big business and big pharma. They're pushing socialism, and they're covert capitalists. And there's no getting away from that now. That's why I'm in support of Irish Freedom Party, Irish Nationalist Party. There's a few of them, but more so, I'm more leaning to the Irish Freedom Party, because I know a couple of the boys come on here and they're sound, like their policies are. Ireland, yeah, but Ireland invaded Scotland, right? But you have to understand the Scottish, man. Like, people don't realize about the Scottish. The Scottish were the most feared warriors on earth, but their downfall was, and it still sits with them today, they can't fight in a pack. It's like the Roman, that Roman unit that they had. They were feared. The Scottish were feared, man. The Scottish, you know, the Irish fought with their brains. The Scottish fought with their brawns. They were warriors. Like, if you look into their history, the fact that, you know, the Scottish Gaelic language has died off now. I've got conspiracy theories about that. You know, if you listen to the history of Scotland, it's fantastic. Like, but they were feared. They just couldn't fight. They fought individually, which meant they were easily picked off by a unit. I'm talking about when people fought with swords, that is. So the Scottish, you know, and they're like that today. You know, it can be a pack of horrible cunts, but they can have a scrap. Like, I love the Scottish. Exactly, XN. Exactly. I agree with you. That's it. But, like, see, if you wanted to, if you could teach Scottish men and women, like, the women are just, they're brutal too. Like, when I say they're beautiful women, but they can have a scrap. Like, if you can teach Scottish men to fight in a unit, the world's fucked. Like, you know, they're just, there's nobody beating that. They can't tolerate people. Yes, I do believe you're right. Is that where Glaswegian comes from? Gallo Glass, they were called. Like, a good fella I know on YouTube, Masters, aka DJ Cyrus. Like, he's a mad man, but he's a DJ, but he's real Scottish. Like, I haven't actually seen him in ages. Should get him on for the crack sometime when I'm doing my comedy lives. There's William. Yes, but there's a reason for that accent. I'll just read out your whole comment. You need to look up the changes in America from 1920 to how the capitalism that we have now in a different... Right. So owned all of their shit, land, and well, so you have to understand that. That comes directly from the gold standard to the Federal Reserve. So the Americans, and I have to say a select group of religious people that I have to be careful saying this because I will be considered a certain name. The gold standard to the Federal Reserve was created so they could literally loan. They put about $1 trillion into it, or was close to $1 trillion into it. The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and they said to themselves, and many more, and they said to themselves, how can we make money from nothing? Well, they basically loaned out money that didn't exist, and they made interest on that money. And that was the start of the American dream. Now, the conspiracy theory is that if you look at the Titanic, the people that were on the Titanic, that died in the Titanic, were opposed to the Federal Reserve. They wanted to stay in the gold standard, and they all died. And I think it was a couple of months later the Federal Reserve was created. But look who created the Federal Reserve. And I've always stated this. If you see all the wars that are going around the world, look at BlackRock, Vanguard, look at the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds. These people have their hands. And the only way I can say this for people to understand, it's like selling paracetamol to people in pain, to a country that's in pain, but also selling them AK-47s, Kalashnikovs, and landmines. So it's like problem, reaction, solution, and they make 100% profit. And when you say this here and you call this out, people say you're anti-Semitic, and you're like, no, man, I'm not. I'm just. I can't. I have to tell you historical fact here that this was created by, and it wasn't just all Jewish people that created. There was a lot of Christian people that created in America. But that's why anybody that drops the dollar, you're not technically dropping the dollar. You're dropping the Federal Reserve. And that's why whenever you go to all these countries like the Lebanon, you go to Palestine prior to the war properly kicking off, a lot of these countries use dollars, and it was promoted. And a lot of countries around the world use dollars. That's why when shit hits the fan, like I've got dollars in this house, I've got about $200 all in different notes, because when the shit hits the fan, English currency or British currency will mean nothing. The euro will mean nothing. It'll be dollars. Dollars mean everything. But don't carry big, because you need $5, $10. You don't want to be whipping out $200 and 50 notes, because then they'll just take it off you if shit hits the fan, like if there's a fucking doomsday or something. So that people need to know that you're not. They don't take out people like Saddam Hussein, Colonel Gaddafi, because they start trading in their own currency. It's because they went against the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is the greatest power on planet Earth because it works on loaning people money that does not exist and gaining interest on it. That's what the American dream is. That's whenever you've seen the 1950s advertisements, with this job working in a factory, you can own a car, your wife will be looked after, that's what, but then they got greedy, and that's where the recessions came in. You look at the 2008 credit crunch. That's the bankers getting greedy. They're loaning out all the money. People can't pay it back. The arse falls out of it. And where does the money go? Everybody loses their money and they lose their house. That's the bad thing about capitalism and the Federal Reserve. A good businessman will tell you, never spend your own money. Why should I spend my money when I can spend yours? If I go out and buy something, right, I can just go out and take a loan from the bank. I want a new podcast studio, and I've got 100K sitting in the bank, right? Hypothetically speaking. Well, I can go out and I can maybe take 20K out of that, build myself a nice wee podcast studio. Well, why should I do that? All I have to do, go to the bank, get money that does not exist, right? I pay back interest in that, but at the same time, I pay that back, and I can make money with my podcast or my business or whatever I loan it from, and I've just spent your money making me rich. Okay. And if you're rich enough, just say you come into the bracket of a billionaire or a millionaire, well, then you get a lower interest rate. So the more wealthy you are, the more you loan out, the more there's an incentive for you to build like an empire, because the less you have to pay. That's the real shit that goes on. Do you think Vanguard, BlackRock, these people, do you think they give fiddlers about woke culture? You've got these people promoting it because that, look at the pharmaceutical companies. I done a house for a fella, right? I done a house for a fella about 20 years ago, and he got the lowest cut from his dad's pharmaceutical company in America, and it was 800 million. And he was the baby of the family. He was paid off 800 million. That was 20 years ago. So if you're right, just say I own a pharmaceutical company and I'm seeing a load of these liberal whack jobs, and I'm thinking, well, hold on, how do I make money of these liberals, these dumb socialists? How do I make money out of these dumb socialists and communists? Right? Well, we'll pump in advertisements to cut their wieners off. So cut your wiener off. You get all the affirmation that you're affirmed that you're a different a different gender or whatnot, right? Well, we've just got these people for customers for life, because we just look at Helen McEntee. Her husband works for a pharmaceutical company that makes puberty blockers, and she's in the Doyle, and the protected characteristics come underneath her. I'm not accusing anybody, but it was beneficial for those protected characteristics to come in, because her husband then could market the puberty blockers and sell them, and nobody could speak about it, or it would come under hate speech. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that's the case. That exists in GTA 6 and Minecraft. That's actually totally wrong. That's a lie. I shouldn't have said that, right? But that's what they do. Let's get these far left whack jobs on board. Let's flood their country full of undocumented males. Let's get them all thinking about this and that and this and that. And that's more revenue from us, because people need to know they use the welfare system as basically a money laundering system. And when it comes to, we'll promote this ideology where people chop off their wieners, that's going to reduce the population. And at the same time, we're going to make money from these people because they're going to be paying for the treatments. It's a win-win for everybody. So, if I was a billionaire, I wouldn't even be speaking like this right now. I would be making a live stream right now in a 100 million studio, promoting my new puberty blockers and that you should give to people. And I would be promoting chopping off your wiener. But that's the thing. Do you know what I mean? This is what it is. That, people need to know that. Wake up. This is what's happening. Wake up. Obviously, you're going to have a selection of people here that are going to come in afterwards and say, you're racist, you're a bigot, you're this, you're that. I don't care. You're basically owned by the pharmaceutical companies. You're basically owned by big business. Stop watching Netflix. Get off the pharma. Get off the pharma ASAP, because it's literally destroying your psyche. Once you get away from that, stop watching the mainstream media, exercise, eat clean, everything starts to become, wow, this is what's really going on here. Where does the culture of banking and interest? Basic capitalism is just trade. What we have now, is hijacked by the name. No, I get that. That's what I'm trying to say. We're never ever. We will. The lower population of us will be pushed into like a socialistic type view, but it's right now. In 20 years' time, if we don't fight for what's happening right now, the bottom of the pyramid will be in a socialistic type thing, while the top of the pyramid benefits. It's like a one world communistic government where nobody can progress, nobody can start a business. There's no entrepreneurship. There's a regression. That's what it'll turn into, because the top 100 families in the world right now are thinking to themselves, we're not going to let anybody else into the club. So fuck it. Let's just control everybody. If you actually think Donald Trump has any power in the White House, if you actually think that, it's not even BlackRock, it's not even Vanguard. It's them people work on currency. There's people out there that don't even work on currency. They work on power. Exactly. Exactly. he buys up the land. If you want to know the greatest conspiracy, go and watch the Netflix show about McDonald's, where the guy comes in, goes to the McDonald's brothers and says, let's make this a franchise, right? Now, they were for it, but they weren't really for it. And he realized that he was being restricted in his vision of what McDonald's could be. So what did he do? He goes, well, I need to distribute McDonald's all around the world. So he started buying up the land the McDonald's restaurants were built on, which meant he owned the land. They owned, the McDonald's brothers owned it was brilliant. Like I was watching it, he was a prick, but I was thinking to myself, that's brilliant business. Like, if anybody's into that shit, brilliant business. And he bought the land, and they didn't realize he was doing it. And then he basically owned McDonald's, because he was like, well, I'm going to, up the price. I'm going to, he could do whatever he wanted. So they had to sign over McDonald's to him. And that's when McDonald's went worldwide. And that's the same shit that's happening in today, except in different ways. They're not physically buying up land, but they're buying up shit which will inhibit you from growing and progressing in the future. So I'm going to react to a video here. I'm going to put this back up on the screen. I'm going to let my cat out. My cat's going crazy here. Give me a second. Right. We'll actually go over here to Twitter. There's Dom Leclerc. The Chinese killed Jesus Christ. This isn't a conspiracy. This isn't racist. This is history. I mean, like, what's he doing? Like, oh, he's doing that for community notes, because community notes have to correct him. According to the gospel, Jewish authorities in Roman Judah charged Jesus with blasphemy and sought his execution, but lacked the authority to have Jesus put to death. John 18:31. So they brought Jesus to the Roman governor of the province, who authorized Jesus' execution. So this is what Dom, if people don't know what Dom Leclerc is, right? He's got a big Twitter account, right? Big, like millions of followers. But community notes will correct you in something that you say, like mainstream. And it's funny. So if I go on and I write something wacky, there'll be a community note underneath it correcting my tweet. So he's basically forcing Twitter, which is very pro, like the higher ups in Twitter, X, are very pro Israel, to say who killed Jesus, which was the Jews via the Romans. He's a sneaky guy, him. But we're going to go over to our boy here, Michael O'Keefe, who's doing real work out there. I think he's the highest followed Twitter account, like normal guy. He's like a citizen journalist. Go over and follow him. You can see the little handle on the screen there, at Mick capital M _ capital O _ capital K Keefe EEFE. So what's this? Full video of Virgin Media transporting immigrants back to Dublin in their own cars. Now, what's this about? Like, so, like, what is this here?
I'm glad. Look, Virgin Media, look. You see the report on the truth, guys. They're all getting into this fella's car here, look. And there's a bus load them as well, lads, look. That bus is full, lads. That bus is full. And they're all getting into that NGO's car here, look. I'm fucking glad I'm after walking back up here, I tell you. I'm glad. I'm fucking glad. Told you that this is my area. This is my area, yeah? This is my area. And this NGO.
Why is that geezer trying to hide his face? Sorry about that.
Okay. And there's a bus load them as well, lads, okay? The shoot down just now. Look at them all. Why is all hiding their faces, lads? If these are innocent people fleeing war, fear to me the fake news. So there's that lefty. Where's the NGO?
So you have Virgin Media, the media sector of Virgin Media coming down here, and they're giving lifts to the asylum seekers and migrants back to Dublin, I believe, or to new accommodation in their personal cars, their personal vehicles. Like, man, tell me there's not something going on there. Like, is this some weird Alex Jones thing where you find out like there's actors and like most of these people are paid actors?
You go with them. Yeah. Okay. So let me manage.
Virgin Media are taking them fuck off. Are they? No way, lads. Virgin Media are taking some of these migrants. No way. Look at this. You are well looked after, aren't you, lads? Jesus Christ. You are well looked after. Look at them. Nice gear and all they have on. No way, lads. No way. Did I just catch Virgin Media and taking them? Same with this fella here. No way.
Like, what is, like, that is pretty strange. Like, why would like, there's cop cars there. Why is the cops not taking them? Is that not, I know they're adults and all, like, but because they are international protected applicants, would they not have to come under a different type of protection? Like, the state has to make sure they get from A to B. Why are they going with Virgin Media? That's pretty strange.
No way. No way. Hold on, bud. Hold on. This the Virgin Media news. Look at, they're taking them in this car as well, lads. 191 KE. Lads, what are you doing to the country? Virgin Media News and mainstream news reporters taking migrants in their personal cars. Wow. Wow. This is fucking breaking.
I'll have to say, though, do they know some of the migrants before getting it? I wouldn't just allow a random Irish person to get into my car. Like, think about it. Think about the psyche to that. You wouldn't just allow a random person to get into your car. They must be on the payroll. Like, some of these people must be on the payroll. Like, you be here at a certain time and we'll give you an allowance. We'll pay you. You know, here's the script. You speak from the script and we'll pay you. Do you know what I mean? That's why they're able to get into the cars, because they already have a relationship with them.
News, this. These are mainstream media. Virgin Media he is. Virgin Media, and he's taking migrants in his car. Wow. Wow.
Like, tell me that isn't corruption. Like, there's a conflict of interest. Whenever we'll find another conflict of interest whenever you have migrants getting into the cars of the personal vehicles of the mainstream media employees, journalists, cameramen, writers, and things like that. Now you've got a conflict of interest, because they're not doing, it's not a story that they're doing. They're not giving them a few pound. Oh, here, listen, thanks very much for that story. They're giving them a lift. They have a personal relationship with these people.
Wow. Virgin Media, look, she has them in her car as well. Holy mother. This is madness, guys. That's mainstream media taking illegal migrants who come into the country. What?
That is like a sort of form of human trafficking. I'm not going to lie to you. That's a bit creepy. I'm not going to lie to you. That's like human trafficking.
Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow.
That's mental. I think he shared that a few times now. I will have to react to this here, like. So, like, look at that for St. Patrick's Day. That's them lifting the tents off the road because they want it all cleaned up for St. Patrick's Day. So when the tourists come in tonight or tomorrow, that they're met with a nice clean street, but they weren't doing that for the local residents. And, you know, I actually find this racist because you've got these people, non-white Irish people living on the streets outside the immigration centre. I think that's where it is, on Mount Street in Dublin. And they're all loitering about this place. And you've created a slum. So you've created a slum of people not from Ireland in this area. And people are going to say, well, I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for them too. But as we've just seen with Virgin Media, a lot of these people have got relationships with the likes of the media. So it would make you think, if this can be taken away within the blink of an eye, was this here for a purpose? Was this here to distract people? Was this here for, you know, division politics to actually make people angry? Because, like, where are these people going to go now? You've just, you know, and, you know, I heard once smashing up a hotel because the food wasn't good enough. Like, look at that, like. Wow. That's mental. To anybody that's left leaning here, I really want you to process this. They were living in them tents yesterday, and now they're being lifted by a machine and dumped. So to anybody that's coming on here is going to say, oh, you're Cabbage, you're a racist, or Cabbage, you're a bigot. I find this racist. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not saying put the people in hotels and exhaust more public funds, but I'm saying, why are they here in the first place if you can't look after them? And then here they are. Like,
Something new for you guys, huh? Something new, huh? Yeah.
So I do believe this is like an old person's home. It's a shut down old person's home. And for some reason, they're not going to let them in. I don't know why, but they get very, very aggressive here. Like, they're dropped off, which I find is racist in itself too. Like, just let's see these people not from Ireland with a different skin color. See the ones that we've kept in tents outside the immigration office, right? Bung them in the back of a van, dump them in the side of a road, and don't let them into this place. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's more racist than me that's more racist than me saying that these people shouldn't be here in the first place. In my opinion, keeping people in slums and glorifying sort of human shipping, that's more racist, in my opinion. Look how aggressive they get here.
Everybody eat.
He's hitting it. Open the door, he's saying. I'm talking to you. Open the door. Open the door. I'm talking to you. Like, think about that. Hypothetically, say this geezer comes from Pakistan, right? Do you think I could go to Pakistan as a refugee, be housed and give money? And okay, fair enough, this fella's been living in a tent. There's no need for him to live in a tent, by the way. That means he's refused accommodation for whatever reason. Probably to get moved up the ladder for better accommodation, if you know how it works. And now, do you think I would be able to speak to somebody in Pakistan like that? Like bang on it and say, hey, I'm talking to you? It would be a Sunday day public de-lifing for the whole family to come and see old stray cabbage here being taken out. That's what it would be. Look at that. Open the door. Like, look at that. Look, like, imagine that. Like, there's like these people don't look like they're poor to me. Like he's running around there with a Pixel, looks like a Pixel 8 or a Pixel 7 phone. They're quite expensive. They're all wearing nice new gear, and then they go away off in vans by Virgin Media. Like they're basically, what do you call that? They're trespassing there, because if they're not opening the door and they're going into private land and they're jumping over to private land, if that was me or you, we would be arrested. The cops would be rang, like. That's absolutely mental. Like, I think there's definitely something going on here. Like, that's... How can anybody with a normal brain look at that?
Because we know about Ireland is... Because we know about Ireland is that this state respect all people from all the countries, respect many religions.
What did he say there? What did he say there? Hold on.
Because we know about Ireland is that this state respect all people from all the countries, respect many religions.
Yeah.
No racism in this.
No problem. Ireland will help anybody, but this is not help. This is not a solution.
No. Yes,
this is the government's problem.
Like, I think he's being respectful there, isn't he? How is this a good thing? This is a direct result of the Varadkar regime's policies. How is this a good thing? These people have more than likely left safe countries to get to Ireland. Why have they left safe countries to get to Ireland, to be homeless in Ireland? Because Varadkar has promised them more things. I mean, like, why would you do this to your own country?
I agree with you. They put us here. This speech could right from Dublin to here. That's not about from the left. This is a matter of not risky. Okay.
You see, he's being civil there, right? And thank God that there is somebody being civil there. The older fella, he's being civil. Like, I think he's trying to basically calm the situation down, because he understands they're in the. He knows that they're in a bad spot. That, like, they've been put into tents sponsored by Trespass. Vraggers put them there. He's promised them everything. He's took them in. They're homeless. They've ripped up their tents. They've dumped their tents and they've dumped them in the side of a road somewhere because there's tourists from America coming in and they want to keep the streets nice and clean. Is that not racist? Like, I know people are going to say, well, I don't care about racism, but realistically, though, most of the people in the chat at one stage or another would have been called racist for disagreeing with these people being here in the first place. But actually, the real racism is keeping these people on the streets and dumping them at the side of the road and allowing them in the first place. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's trying to be, this fella here is trying to be civil, I think. I can't really understand what he's saying, so don't quote me on what he's saying. But he's trying to be civil. And it does take a few, like the elder generation to come in, because the young fellas, you know, they're not, you know, they should have respect, and they should be coming out here saying, listen, we're not here for any badness, you know. But it's taken a fella like this here to come out and sort of speak, you know. At least there's somebody there speaking, trying to calm the situation down. Fair play to him, you know. Hold on, so a couple of them got in. Hold on, what's this? A couple of them got in. There's no sound here, folks, in this video. So you can see, like, a couple. So they must have packed the place out then. So there was loads. Look at that. Look at that. Do you see the amount of them that were there? Whoa. Let me just go back there. Look at this. Whoa, look at that. There's a load of them walking in there. Man, that's dodgy. Like, I don't care what anybody said. That looks like that is dodgy. Look at that. Look at, there's loads of them. Coming off a bus. Wow. What's going on here? Look at the big gold liner, look. Big private bus. Oh my God, that's mental. They're treating these people like cattle, like. They treat these people like they're cattle, like just ship them and move them like cattle. That, like, without a shadow of a doubt, the leftists in Ireland are more racist than anybody, because they want more of this. Like, what is this? Wow. Oh, this is. Conor McGregor and Irish Taoiseach Leo Varadkar were both invited to the Chicago St. Patrick's Day parade in 2019. Varadkar wasn't too happy as McGregor stole the show.
Let's go, Warden! Let's go, Warden! Up that trail! Up that trail! Woo! You know what? Plumbers can do it all, baby. And you're looking at that top plumber.
We're starting. Everyone back away, please. Keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, he sees Leo here. Leo wouldn't have liked that. So Leo and McGregor were right beside each other, and everybody's crowding around McGregor, and nobody's around Leo. Rightly so. He goes, like, I mean, yeah, of course.
It's great to be here, a young Irish man, and treated with such respect. You know, to come over here, it's breathtaking for me. So I'm very, very happy and honored to be here. And I just want to thank the people of Chicago. So thank you so much.
And all those.
Do one, Leo, would you? You're not McGregor level famous, like, you wee prick. Imagine Leo getting salty over that. More African illegals arrive in Ireland earlier today. Notice the middle-class Irish woman helping these illegal immigrants, NGO employees, and Dunleary residents. So once again, I have to talk about this before we react to this.
So where are you from?
I want to just speak about something here, right? We're going to end it in this. I'm going to watch this video after, so we'll have to speak about this, right? Let me just take us away, right? Most of the advocates for more of this, for more illegal immigration, for open door policies, are people that are rich, that are people, not all people that are rich, but people that come from middle class, upper class, the political class families. And it's people that, like singers and things like that, Bono and all the wankers of today, that live in good areas that aren't affected by this, that want this. That's what you need to know. So you'll have a lot of these self-loathing white liberals. And I think it was Malcolm X that said, or it could have been Martin Luther King. I can't remember which. It could have been Malcolm X. I think it was Malcolm X. He said, beware of the white liberal. Because he understood, these boys understood that these people are going to be the destruction of the West. And you're seeing that in America. You're seeing that here. You've got these wealthy people with this guilt for some reason that feel like they should help impoverished people all around the world. So they're advocating for open door policies. And none of these, the areas that they live, they can go into the slums that they create, give them a pot noodle, a packet of cigarettes, leave, go back into their nice area where it's like a compound, and not see the destruction that's happening, not stay in the slums. So, do you know what I mean? While normal folk have to put up with this on a day-to-day basis, while there's slums being created, while real racism is happening, like this, what you're seeing in the streets, what you're seeing what the Varadkar regime's doing is actually racist, keeping people in slums in inner city Dublin, creating impoverished areas, creating slums. And you need to understand this. They only grow, those slums only get bigger. There'll be a stage where you can't remove the tents because it'll be its own little economy. But just look at parts of Chicago. Look at parts of Detroit in America where businesses just pulled out, factories pulled out because of the crime. That's what will happen. And you'll have places in Dublin like downtown LA in California where it's just, you can't go in. It's just a zombie town of just drugs, homeless, and that's created by far left politics. And that's who Varadkar is. He is extreme far left. He's motivated by extreme far left politics that will inevitably destroy the country. Not because of the people that are coming in, but because of the way he's bringing them in. It's absolutely mental. And it's the rich people. They are actually doing the damage. And once again, we find ourselves in a situation where the working class, the lower class people, the bottom of the pyramid, the people like me and you are left in the shit, while the people with all the money get to stay in their nice fancy houses and destroy it for everybody else.
There we go. Run your tents. Just arrived. So where are you from?
I'm come from Congo.
From Congo, yes?
Yes.
When did you arrive in Ireland?
1 year and 6
This geezer's from the Congo.
months.
1 year, 6 months?
Yes.
Okay. Are you living here as well on the street now?
No, I'm living in Limerick.
Oh, Limerick. So,
Yes.
okay. Are you working in Ireland?
Yes, I'm working.
Okay.
Fair play, dude.
We don't have too much of people around because when in the morning, some has to go freshen up.
Okay.
They have their breakfast. So I think it's best time for anything to come is in the evening because by then everyone will be around.
My problem isn't with the fella himself, but how did he get here? Was he one of the guys ripping up the passports? Did he come here illegally? Was he given Irish identification? How did he prove that he was here? Because I have to ask these questions, and because Varadkar's division politics, we're left to ask these people questions because the government isn't answering the questions. The government isn't saying, look, you have nothing to worry about. The people coming in here we've all seen their passports. They've all been screened and everybody's safe. Obviously, you're going to get a level of crime everywhere. We can't be 100% sure, but I can safely say that most of the people that are coming in here, a good 80-85% of them are screened and you have nothing to worry about. But they're not saying that because they can't say that, because if they did say that, that would be lying. We don't know who any of these people are because most of them have just ripped up their passport. They don't have identification. And the Irish government, this is the key, the Irish government have given them a new alias because then they can register for a new identification. They just give a name, they get a picture taken, and now they've got a new alias. It's not their real name. And they've got identification somewhere. So they could probably travel with that if they wanted to.
Like maybe the beginning of the afternoon.
Like, let me just say from 4.
Yeah, I have 4-5. 4-5. So.
Look at that. Look at that. There's a picture. Somebody screenshot that there. Like, I'll take my mug out of this. Screenshot that. Hold on. What do you say is here, right? Screenshot that. Look at that. That's Ireland. That's a picture of modern day Ireland. Do you know what I mean? Wow. That's racist. That's actually racist, though. That's crazy. And you're right, Susie. See, that's the thing. The people need to take the power back. Anybody that's an advocate for open door policies, all the migrants need to go to those areas. Don't put them in inner city Dublin. Don't have them hanging outside businesses and things like that. Or say there's an area where these white self-loathing liberals live. Go pitch a tent in their front garden, and that's when you'll get action. Trust me, because those people are the real racists. We don't want to see people living like this. We don't want to see people living in shanty huts put up in fields all over the place. We don't want that. We just want a good immigration policy. And for anybody that comes in here to be screened, that's it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's modern Ireland for you there. Like that's a historical picture right there. That's a historical picture. Look at that. Wow. Do you think they want to be living like that? What did he say there? Hey, bro. Mental, folks. Absolutely mental. Listen, I'm going to leave it at that for today anyway. Who have we got? Who have we got in the chat? You know, well, some of them, you know, as you say, some of them work. I've got no issue with it. It's just I want them vetted because you don't know who they are. That's it. That's an historical photo, mate. If you want to get a better screenshot, download the video, go over to X, the Michael O'Keefe's X, and go screenshot that, man. Go download the video. That's an historical photo. Like, that's modern day Ireland. But yes, folks, you know, massive respect to all of you that have came in. That's it. You know, that's it for today. I'll just a random live stream for you. And look, for any of the liberals that are watching this that actually hate me, you need to know this. You're actually the racist one. Like, I'm considering myself a little bit liberal myself, but you're the far liberals, the far leftists. You are actually racist yourself. You want these people living in slums because of your guilt. What are you doing? Advocate for a screening process. So 70% of the people coming in, there's going to be a 70% reduction in people coming in that aren't living on the streets. And if you're rich and you're advocating for this, we're going to put them into your area. So if any of these nationalist parties get in and you still want these people to come in, okay. But we're going to put them in your area to see how you like it. What we witnessed today was racism. Was pure racism. Putting people in tents, and then because it's St. Patrick's Day, you're cleaning up the streets because you don't want the tourists to see them. What are you ashamed of? Show the people what's happening. That's real racism, folks. Proper racism. Right, guys, that's the end of the show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Peace out.